Triple H has fired a shot at The Rock on last night's SmackDown. We've got a major update on the future plans for Seth Rollins, and there is a big push planned for a top WWE prospect. Stay tuned for the news. Now, Triple H opened last night's SmackDown and sort of addressed a little bit of the fallout, a little bit of what happened at the WrestleMania 40 kickoff press conference thing in the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It was quite a big night on Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit.
There was a lot of things happening.
Cody got slapped.
Yeah.
It was just very dramatic. It was a very dramatic moment.
There was a lot of swearing, which is not something I ever expected from WWE.
But more of that, please.
More of that. Give us more of that. Well, Cody came out obviously on the press conference and announced that he would be facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. He was done with all that crap with the Rock, talking about there being basically only one family in wrestling.
Yes.
The Bloodline.
Yeah.
Well, Triple H sort of addressed some of that and reiterated that it was the plan to have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, while the crowd chanted "Rocky sucks." Now, Triple H said it felt like some people don't know their role, obviously hinting at The Rock there, and that there are people trying to insert their authority when they don't have any.
They keep going on a rampage and a Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, exactly. Look, he's jumping out of a skyscraper. He then said, the answers come from one place and one place only. And you're looking at him, addressing to himself, of course, making that match official for WrestleMania 40 in the main event.
Graphic comes up and everything.
Yeah, it's looking like we are getting Cody versus Roman after all. He then followed up by reiterating that, and the crowd chanted for Cody. Triple H said, in a voice that it was reminiscent of The Rock, in the style of The Rock, he said, it doesn't matter if you don't like that decision.
And the crowd reacted very strongly to that.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
It's going to be interesting to see how they navigate, because it looks like we're getting quite a layered story for this.
Yes. Whether or not it started off as a real thing and it's gone sideways and it's now become a story, we'll never know. But that's how most of the best of wrestling begins.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we're going to hear from The Rock, we imagine, next week regarding this, because his next WWE appearance is set. And it is indeed next week's SmackDown, where he's going to be joining Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman.
Which is baffling that Paul Heyman was backstage on SmackDown and came up to Triple H and was like, look, I'm going to be joined by Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, and The Rock. Both of them, they're joining forces. Like we saw at the end of the press conference on Thursday night, it looks like...
Do they have like magic twin power rings?
It's what it is. They're going to do the
and
thing.
they merge, the fusion.
Yeah, they're going to do the fusion dance and all that sort of stuff. I think it will be interesting to see how they navigate the Triple H Rock rivalry, because Triple H can't wrestle now.
Yes.
But we are having The Rock, who's his boss now, because he's on the board of directors. But it's not his domain to make the matches. That's Triple H's job.
It depends how near the knuckle they want to go, because they could have Triple H have a medical incident caused by The Rock that leads to Triple H being taken out of the situation, The Rock then running wild with his authority. But at the same time, I'm just excited to see how The Rock responds to Triple H using his catchphrases. And I hope that it's the classic way The Rock would react, and that's to come out in a big fake nose and a big fake wig, and sort of dress kind of like Triple H used to dress, with a blow-up hammer, and then just be like, I am the gamer.
That would be so much fun if we get that.
We're
Rock
back in business.
We're back in the boom. I think this is going to be really fun to see how we progress through this. Cody was not on SmackDown last night. It'll be interesting to see what his next steps are. He's been slapped by The Rock. What does he do next?
He's got to slap him back.
He's got to slap him back. Yeah. But can he? Can he, though? Because it's his boss. And you can't hit your boss, Sam.
Well, it's true, yeah. This is the tantalizing thing about The Rock maybe being around for more of a fixed thing now.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you've got Triple H kind of restating, I am the authority, which brings us back to shades of some of the dark days of the authority itself just being the only storyline ever. But at the same time now, it's wheels within wheels, because the authority has an authority.
Yeah, right. And Cody Rhodes is now
and
with
that
the
authority has an authority above that at the Endeavor level.
Yeah.
If you really want to get crazy.
It's like, oh, wow, there's so many different layers to this story, and I can't wait to see what's next. Yeah. But going over to AEW Rampage, where you said Rampage, we're going to a different type of Rampage. It's not the film, it's the show. On last night's Rampage, we possibly saw the end of the Outcasts as Ruby Soho sort of jumped off the apron right as Saraya was trying to make the tag. They were facing off against Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. But, you know, we saw this little dissension in the team. So Ruby Soho jumped off the apron, walks away, and then straight away, Saraya loses after Willow Nightingale pins her. I think this is the end for the Outcasts.
Yeah, I kind of want to see what's next for Ruby Soho and Saraya, but at the same time, I feel like we've got to probably wrap this up a little bit. So maybe we're going to get them squaring off with each other for a little while. Yeah,
it feels like it's gone on a little bit too long now that Tony's left the team and is doing her own thing as Timeless Tony Storm. We've got...
It could just be one of those where it's like, boom, break, done, and move on. Everybody kind of moves into new things.
It could well be. I think there's a good chance that we maybe see them in a match either in the Dynamite or Collision running up to Revolution or at Revolution itself. I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks. But staying with AEW just now, a report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter has revealed that the morale backstage in AEW is, quote, the best it has been in some time. Now, that is despite, and Meltzer acknowledges this in the report, some little bit of a disappointment in the recent ratings because... While the shows have been incredibly strong, we've had some fantastic matches. Just look at Swerve versus Hangman Page from this week. With whoever would win would go on to face Samoa Joe at Revolution. I'm not going to reveal the spoiler as to who won that one. I know it was a couple of days ago, but just watch it. It was pretty good. There's some disappointing at the ratings for that, but overall, the morale is pretty happy with the quality right now in AEW.
I think this is the thing. If they focus more on, just getting that quality up, or just, I guess, refining the quality, because the quality's always been there, but just sort of refining it more and more. Hopefully everything else will start to fall in line. But there is some sort of disconnect because we're seeing AEW with houses that should be a lot more full than they are. We're seeing them, with ratings that should be higher. That I think it's more if they just look and focus on, as I said, refining that quality. Hopefully, they can start to work out what it is with certain markets where maybe they're not connecting as much, or work out why it is that maybe some shows aren't doing as well as others.
It's a little bit a case of running similar markets very frequently and just branching out a little bit. You see when they come over here and they do a massive stadium show, it's if you build it, they will come. You put the show on, people will come to it.
I'd argue, we would go to, if it was WWE at Wembley, AEW at Wembley, or something crazy like TNA at Wembley, it would probably sell amazingly well because we are starved of major American wrestling coming here regularly.
That is true, but I think AEW's quality is definitely deserving of a better house, better ratings overall. But I'm glad the morale...
TNA at Wembley would... that would be an interesting concept. The ultimate X match. Suspended over the top of the structure.
Wow, book it. I was going to say book it Scott D'Amore, but no, he's no longer with the company. So book it.
Anthem.
Yeah, you could put an owl up there and they can navigate the Ultimate X structure. Or Elevation X. That was a good stipulation. Well, it was a weird one. But anyway, we're going to go back over to WWE because we've got an update on the future of Seth Rollins. Now, yesterday, yourself, Sam, and Tom discussed some possible plans for Seth Rollins in the future.
Yes.
But we've now had them kind of confirmed.
Yeah, so it was confirmed on SmackDown that Rollins is going to be facing the winner of the Elimination Chamber match at WrestleMania, and he'll defend his World Heavyweight Championship in said match. Now, 2 people have qualified so far for the match, including Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. 2 people who I can already see in that match spot, that position, holding that belt. But the remaining spots will be decided via qualifier matches, which will see LA Knight versus Ivar, Bronson Reed versus Bobby Lashley, Logan Paul versus The Miz, and Kevin Owens versus Dominic Mysterio.
Who do you think is going to join Drew and Orton in the chamber match?
I want it to be LA Knight.
LA Knight?
And I want LA Knight to win. Ooh. And I want him to BTFO Seth in 8 seconds.
Yeah, okay.
And then just shake his head at him, and then shake his head at the belt, and then drag it along the floor as he walks out like it doesn't mean anything.
And just he turns heel.
No, huge pop.
The huge pop. Okay, huge pop for LA Knight, of course.
I think LA Knight's got to get in there. I don't know if he's going to be the guy in position. I feel like, given the propensity for crazy stuff that he's done, Logan Paul stands out.
Logan Paul's got to be in there, right?
In a chamber match, it feels like he'd be able to do something like
money.
mental.
Yeah, having him in there and being able, advertised that Logan Paul was in an Elimination Chamber match. You're going to get some eyes
they
on that
can make
product.
a chamber a big bottle of Prime or something.
There's, I think, but each pod, his pod is a bottle of Prime. I think Bronson Reed will be in there. I think Logan Paul. I think Kevin Owens. I think Reed will be in there just so he can hit a tsunami splash off the top of a pod.
Lashley's a safe bet, but I feel like Lashley's too safe a bet.
A little bit.
Because I feel like it. So, we can put Lashley in the chamber, but I don't see him running through and getting that title. So it feels like there's more we could do with Bobby that maybe isn't the chamber match.
There was one man that I was expecting or thinking that they might put in the chamber, and it's the man we're about to talk about, Bron Breakker. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Bron Breakker is going to be given a substantial push when he fully arrives on the main roster, because right now he's doing that thing where he's stuck between the two shows. Adam Pearce wants him, but Nick Aldis wants him.
It's like you've got unfinished business, so he's not allowed to leave NXT. He's still haunting NXT
a little bit, so he's still doing that stuff with the Wolf Dogs, which is a great tag team, by the way. But he's not quite on the main roster. I thought he was going to get a shot in the Elimination Chamber, but we are going to see him get a substantial push. Maybe him versus Gunther
with Uncle Scott in the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Scott
with a live microphone.
Scott takes down Kaiser. Yeah. Why not? Give us that.
Frankensteiner.
Imagine if Scott Steiner gets back in the ring. In WWE.
Just calls out Triple H. Just goes absolutely mental. I need to see it.
Yeah, him versus Gunther in a pose off at WrestleMania.
Scott, we're just supposed to walk him down. Get off the mic.
Whatever happens.
Security trying to drag him out, just kicking him.
Whatever happens, if Bron Breakker's at WrestleMania, we need Scott Steiner. But that is all we've got for you just now. We'll be back later on today with more wrestling news. Check out all the content that is on the channel. The podcast went live last night. I'm on the podcast this week. It was a good, fun one. It's a big, beefy, girthy, long, scrummy podcast, as Matthew would say. Check out Over the Top Rope, the Royal Rumble documentary myself and Sam worked on. That went on the channel this past week. So check out all the great stuff. And we will see you later on because we've got more wrestling news, Sam.
Yeah!